Good morning, hello, and welcome to This Date in History, aka TDH. This show is all about the events that occurred to date in years past, both recognized by other historians, but mainly things we personally find intriguing enough for us to bring to you. The sources of this information come from the Smart Device application, Today in History, What Happened Today in History, Historical Calendar, and the website onthisday.com. And I just realized I do not have my... hold on a second. Whoopsie doodle. Okay, thank goodness that continued to work. Alright, there we go. Let's put that on there. Alright. Alright, now we're rocking and rolling. Anyway, for links to those sources, the music, and anything else potentially interesting, check the underbar of the description below. Anyway, I am Xander, and you are you. Today is Thursday, aka Thursday, May 25th, 2023. Let's move on into the history today, shall we? We are going to start off in 1085. Alfonso VI of Leon and Castile captured the Muslim Taifa of Toledo. What's a Taifa? What is a Muslim Taifa? Taifa, Arabic ta'ifa, plural tawa'if, a faction or party as applied to the followers of any of the petty kings who appeared in Muslim Spain in a period of great political fragmentation early in the 11th century after the dissolution of the central authority of the Umayyad Caliphate of Cordoba. Alright, that's very specific, but alright. So they captured those. Moving on up to 1521, we got the Edict of Worms outlawed Martin Luther and his followers. That's not nice. You know, all because he dared to question, what was known. Like, yikes. Moving on up to 1659, Richard Cromwell resigned as Lord Protector of England, earning the nickname Tumbletown Dick as a result of his abrupt fall from power. Alright, where is that? That's 1659. So, yeah, we're skipping a bunch of these highlighted ones because nobody else is here. So, I'm only researching, I'm only reading from my secondary script here. But yeah, so, what a name, Tumbletown Dick. We're going to move on up into 1720. The ship Le Grand Saint-Antoine reached Marseille, bringing Europe's last major plague outbreak, causing the deaths of 100,000. So, that is, yikes. 1721, John Hopson became America's first insurance agent. Alright. Cool. 1738, a treaty between Pennsylvania and Maryland ended the Conjugal War. It was settlement of a boundary dispute, exchange of prisoners. Alright, I had no idea that the colonies were fighting with each other, but yeah, they were independent little city-states, and what did Greece do for a long time? Anyways, 1787, Constitutional Convention opened at Philadelphia, George Washington presiding. Alright. 1793, Father Stephen Theodore Baden was the first U.S. Roman Catholic priest ordained. Cool. 1810, the Primera Junta, the local government, was established in Argentina. Cool. Alright, so some government in Argentina. 1816, collection of poems by Samuel Taylor Coleridge, published by John Murray in London, including Kubla Khan and Christabel. Alright. 1837, the Patriots of Lower Canada and Quebec rebelled against the British for freedom. Alright. Following in our footsteps. Cool. 1842, Christian Doppler presented his idea, now known as the Doppler effect, through the changing colors of binary stars, to the Royal Bohemian Society in Prague. Alright. And the Doppler effect is essentially like when you hear sirens or whatever, or a truck horn, it sounds differently coming at you versus when it's going away. Because when it's moving at you, it's compressing it, and when it's moving away, it's uncompressing. So, you get different sounds, different wavelengths and whatnot. That's the Doppler effect. 1844, the first telegraphed news dispatch was published in Baltimore Patriot. Alright. 1861, John Merryman was arrested under suspension of writ of habeas corpus and later sparks a Supreme Court decision protecting writ. Okay. 1862, we got the First Battle of Winchester in Virginia. Stonewall Jackson's Confederate forces achieved major victory. Yes, you know, at the first part of the Civil War, it was going in their way, and it was not looking good. But you can see right here, just 2 years later, during the Civil War as well, Battle of New Hope Church in Georgia, Major William T. Sherman's Union forces launched an attack, but suffered heavy losses and entrenchment on both sides. So, yikes. But, we got the first tie in NHL history in 1876 between the Athletics and Louisville. They got a 2-2 in 14 rounds or whatever, 14 innings. I don't know. Whoever watches hockey, 14 whatever. You get what I'm saying. 1878, W.S. Gilbert and Arthur Sullivan's comic opera H.M.S. Pinafore premiered in London, their first international success. And a good chunk of you know what it is without knowing what it is. You probably remember it from The Simpsons. Sideshow Bob performed that for Bart when he had captured him on that little boat going down the river. But just go check a look. Actually, like let me bring up something real quick. HMS as Pinafore. It's in Star Trek as well. So, but oh, that's
tenderly of one.
That's an hour long. Well, oh yeah, Simpsons did it too. Yeah.
Beautiful voice.
Saucy ships of beauty.
Yeah, okay, well, you get the idea. Anyway, let's move on up. 1895, Oscar Wilde sentenced to 2 years imprisonment for gross indecency. Yikes, what did you do? Like, Moving on up into 1900, retired London firemaster Irie Massey Shaw, aged 70, reportedly became the oldest gold medalist in the Olympics for sailing. This is disputed. So, you know, but that is, 123 years ago? Well, but we gotta close the case on that. We gotta figure it out. 1911, revolution in Mexico overthrew President Jose Porfirio Diaz. All right. 1914, British House of Commons passed the Irish Home Rule Bill. All right, yeah, like Ireland needs to be free, man. Come on. As well as Scotland, but you know that will be dealt with after we deal with Russia. 1919, Casey Stengel released a sparrow from under his baseball cap. Huh. Well, that's interesting. It's just like, whoop, and then bird, you know? Strange. What else do we have? 1922, some more baseball stuff. Babe Ruth was suspended for 1 day and fined $200 for throwing dirt on an umpire. Yeah, that's just rude. You know, the fine, like, I can get that. It's like, dude, don't throw dirt on the umpire, you freaking dingus. 1927, Henry Ford announced that he is ending the production of the Model T Ford. Yep. An end of an era. 1932, Goofy, a.k.a. Dippy Dog, first appeared in Mickey's Review by Walt Disney. Alright. 1935, here we go again. Babe Ruth hit his last 3 home runs in Pittsburgh. The Boston Braves still lost the game 11-7 to the Pirates. So, alright. 1935, legendary U.S. athlete Jesse Owens equals or broke 4 world records in 45 minutes at a Big Ten meet at Ferry Field in Ann Arbor, Michigan, remembered as the greatest 45 minutes ever in sports. Man, I hope that there's video of it. I'm not going to look for it right now. Actually, let's see. What is it? Jesse Owens greatest 45 minutes? Is there? Huh. Oh, okay. Oh, this has to be during, because there's Hitler right there. So, all right. Well, I'm gonna watch that after this video here. So, anyway, let's move on up here. 1937, we got the first airmail letter to Circle Globe returned to New York. You know, why? Because we can. Why not? 1945, Arthur C. Clarke proposed relay satellites in geosynchronous orbit. So that's where is that? 45 here. Where are you? There you are. Yeah, geosynchronous orbit, which is essentially like just staying in position above the planet. So rather than like going around faster than the actual rotation, like the space shuttle and the ISS and all that stuff, they like maintain their position, then this is what allows our world to function today with wireless cellular calls, Wi-Fi, wireless fidelity, internet, all that stuff. Anything wireless out in space, it has to bounce off of something for it to constantly work, and if things are moving, then it's caused all sorts of problems. So it's really wild. But yeah, all the way back then they were talking about that. Really interesting. Let's move on up to 1946. Jordan gained independence from Britain. This is their national day. Abdullah ibn Hussein became king of Jordan. All right. Oh yeah, it's right there. Okay. Why am I so blind? 1948, San Francisco received its first telecast. Cool. 1951, New York Giant Willie Mays' first major league game went 0 for 5. Well, he still looks like he had a good time. 1953, we got the first atomic cannon electronically fired at Frenchman Flat, Nevada. Atomic cannon. So let's take a look at this. What is an atomic cannon? Oh yeah, that's right. Because there was one time we actually launched a nuke as a shell out of a howitzer, and as you can see right here, there's the mushroom cloud in this picture. And then there's the cannon that fired it. So we have actually lobbed a nuclear weapon. That has happened once, to our knowledge, to my knowledge. Anyway, while that was happening, we got the first non-commercial educational television station happen in Houston, Texas. All right, cool. So non-commercial, so private education, awesome. 1955, series of 19 twisters destroyed Udall, Kansas, and most of Blackwell, Oklahoma. Yikes. That's a lot of tornadoes. Like, danger. 4 years later, 1959, U.S. Supreme Court ruled Louisiana prohibiting black-white boxing unconstitutional. I agree. Don't stop things. Like, let people be people. And we have at least one more thing to cover in that vein of happenings. Anyway, 1961, JFK announced the U.S. goal of putting man on the moon before the end of the decade. And I have to look that up. JFK man on moon. Okay, here we go. Yeah. Let's see if I can find it real quick.
The dramatic achievements in space is early in many ways. National goals. First, I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before this decade is out of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the earth.
There it is, right there. So, go ahead and look it up yourself, guys. I'm gonna relax for most of the day, so I'm trying, as you probably have noticed, I'm trying not to get any underbar work. So I don't know what I'm saying. I'm kind of losing it today. Anyway, why did I stop this music? Let's get back to it here. I just had a weird brain moment right now. Anyway, 1962, Isley Brothers released "Twist and Shout." It's a good song. So. 1964, ground is broken for new Bush Memorial Stadium in St. Louis, opened in 1966 and demolished later in 2005. So, that didn't last too long. Well, 40 years, not bad. Well, 39. Anyway, 1964 as well, U.S. Supreme Court ruled closing schools to avoid desegregation is unconstitutional. Yeah, they really tried that. In order to fight against desegregation, they made the children suffer by denying them an education. Wow. Yeah, you're on the right side of history now, aren't you? Ugh, fucking idiots. So, but yeah, no, that's just awful. And they're blacks really did go through a bunch of stuff. Gays have gone through a bunch of stuff. Females have gone through a bunch of stuff throughout this nation's history and the world's history. I'm not going to deny that, but for the most part, things are better. There's still a lot of work to do, but they're nowhere near, things like this. And now, with how things are going, we're kind of looping back around, going right back to doing things like this, but the shoe's going to be on the other foot. How is that going to make things better? Nobody thinks. Nobody learns. Nobody pays attention. Anyway, 1967, John Lennon took delivery of his psychedelically painted Rolls Royce. Huh. JFK. Wait, no, not JFK. John Lennon. Rolls Royce. Let's take a look at how the. Whoa, yeah, I remember this. That's a cool car. Oh. Alright. I'm going to save that because that might be the thumbnail. Well, I gotta find a... Yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna do that. Alright. Anyway, let's move on up here. 1968, Gateway Arch of St. Louis was dedicated. Alright. You know, the gateway to the west. It's where Lewis and Clark first started their expedition. Back and forth. 1973, U.S. launched first Skylab crew Kerwin, Conrad, and Weiss. Alright, Skylab. That was a space station we had up there for a while. 1977, let's move on up here. I'm kind of a little behind the times on my left side here. 1977, the original Star Wars movie, Episode 4, A New Hope, directed by George Lucas and starring Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, and Harrison Ford, premiered. Alright. Cool. We also have 1979, the horror film Alien, directed by Ridley Scott and starring Sigourney Weaver, was released. That's interesting. You know, Star Wars, and then just 2 years later, Alien. So, we go from space battles to aliens consuming us. Frightening. While that was going on, 1979 as well, Israel began to return Sinai to Egypt. Good. Israel just was a very conquerous nation. 1979 as well, Raul Gonzalez of Mexico completed a 50,000 meter walk in record, or it has to be mile? 50,000 mile? No, that's impossible. What is that? 3 hours, 41 minutes, and 38.4 seconds. So it has to be 50,000 meter. Alright, cool. 4 years later, we got another one, Return of the Jedi, 1983, Star Wars Episode 6, produced by George Lucas, was first released. Alright. And there's a composer, John Williams. Good old John Williams. We also have the first U.S. National Missing Children's Day was proclaimed on this date in 1983. And 3 years later, in 1986, 95-year-old woman scored a hole-in-one in Florida. Alright. That's really cool. Go, Grandma. 1986 as well, Hands Across America, 6.5 million people held hands from California to New York. And I wonder if they actually made like an actual physical line. Like, did they really go across the entire thing? You know what, let me look this up here. Did Hands Across America really hold hands? Like, okay. Well, it seems to be like it was a continuous chain. But if anybody knows, because I don't have the time to go down the rabbit hole right now with this, but if anybody can figure out, and you know what, screw it, I'll go ahead and post this link in the underbar. So let me put this here. Bloop. All right, and move you over here. Taskbar you. But if anybody can post something in the comments section, like whether or not like it was truly unbroken, because if it was unbroken, then that's incredible. But I find that hard to believe. Anyway, let's move on up here to 1989. Mikhail Gorbachev was elected executive president in the Soviet Union. Oh, man. We also have 1989. Weird Al Yankovic recorded a parody song, She Drives Like Crazy. I gotta listen to that. 1992, Jay Leno became permanent host of U.S. talk show The Tonight Show. Yeah. Like, always following that chin of his. 1994, Emmy 21st Daytime Award presentation, Susan Loki was not nominated. Alright, good. But she still made it on the list. That poor lady. Like, just getting thrashed. But at least she didn't get nominated this time. But they made it a point to let us know that she was not nominated. So it was like, 1997, Todd and Mel Stottlemyre became first father and son to win 100 games in Major League Baseball. Nice. That was, what, 97? So, yeah, here we go. Okay. So, there's Mel Stott. Alright. 2 years later, 1999, the United States House of Representatives released the Cox Report detailing People's Republic of China's nuclear espionage against the U.S. over the prior 2 decades. That's a yikes. Why is that not highlighted? Wow. Well, at least, the non-highlighted stands out amongst the who cares highlighted. Sports and movie awards, who cares? This is nuclear espionage, guys. Get your priorities straight. The year 2000, Liberation Day of Lebanon. Israel withdrew its army from most of the Lebanese territory after 22 years of its first invasion in 1978. What have I been saying? Israel is an invasive nation. They're a conqueror's nation. They hide behind things and they always play the victims. Guys, figure it out. 2001, 32-year-old Eric Weihenheimer of Boulder, Colorado, became the first blind person to reach the summit of Mount Everest. All right, that's wild. How do you do that? 6 years later, 2007, the Ostankino Tower in Moscow caught fire for a second time. Yikes. 2011, Oprah Winfrey aired her last show, ending her 25-year run of The Oprah Winfrey Show. Okay. 2012, a SpaceX Dragon became the first commercial spacecraft to dock at the International Space Station. Cool. 1 year later, 2013, Yushiro Miura of Japan became the oldest person to climb Mount Everest at 80. Okay, so on the same calendar date, different years, we had the blind, and then now we have the oldest. That is pretty wicked. Today's turning out to be pretty cool. 365 more days later, 2014, Petro Poroshenko was elected president of Ukraine, and I believe that was the guy who was pro-East, that the U.S. Shadow government, shadow ops stuff did to oust him and bring in what's his face, Zelensky today. 2018, Barbados elected its first female prime minister, Mia Mottley, who led the Barbados Labour Party to victory. All right. While that was happening, 2018 as well, Harvey Weinstein turned himself in to New York police to face charges of struggle snuggle, a criminal act, bad abuse, and extremely disgusting misconduct. I don't know if those are buzzwords, but I don't like even discussing stuff like that on camera. It's disgusting. 2020, video of black U.S. citizen George Floyd's arrest and murder while retained in Minneapolis police custody showed he was pinned to the ground by police officer. No, okay, that's actually completely incorrect. If you look at it from other angles, you will notice that his knee is not directly on his neck. And look at the toxicology report. So this is 100% propaganda and lies. So, oh yeah, and I'm way behind the times here. So, propaganda and lies, right here. So, 2021, new research show impact of climate, climate racism? What? In the U.S., with black people facing double, plus 3.12 C, the amount of heat stress in urban areas. That makes no sense. They are people from Africa. They are descendant of that. Their skin color is because of, thousands of years of evolution to that climate. Being able to block away some of the sun, because the sun it hurts, and it's hot as hell in Africa. I really doubt this. This is a complete it sounds like more propaganda. 2022, Russian forces pound eastern Ukrainian cities of Sivier or Donetsk and Lysychansk in attempt to take whole province of Luhansk, with at least 150 deaths. Yep, that war going on. And as well, just 1 year ago, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus was re-elected Director General of the World Health Organization in Geneva, Switzerland. Not a good idea. So, yeah. Anyway, that shall conclude the show. Once again, you can check the underbar of the description for any links you may find interesting, including but not limited to all things Omni Coalition. For your dose of Passive Events Daily, we stream every day at 11 in the morning Pacific Time, which is 12 Mountain, 1 Central, and 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For all of you and all of us, I am A.O. Xander, and you are you, and until you catch us tomorrow, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Toodles! Alright, okay, in this, bloop, ba-doop,